The population of Nigeria was more than that of UK. But as of today now, the population of Nigeria is about 218 million, while that of UK is about 60 million. Whereas 62 years ago, they were more populous than us. I mean, I met one governor a few years ago when we were planning 70th anniversary of University of Ibadan. He told me that he's tired. That when they built like 500 classrooms in one session, next session more people will come. So the 500 classrooms that they have built will then become insufficient. So it makes planning difficult. And that is part of the problem why government alone may not be able to cope. And when people will also tell you that we cannot always be comparing ourselves and our fortune with the UK or US. No, I think it's comparing apple and oranges. People will say that California is one of the 50 or 51 states in America. But the economy of California is about the 6th largest in the world. Just one state in the US. So there is no point comparing ourselves with the developed countries. And one other thing is that as Nigerians, we like education and tertiary education for that matter. I also ask myself, if I have a 17 or 18-year-old who has passed his WAEC and NECO, I also want him to go to the university, so why not? If I want my own children to go to university, why do I think the children of other people should not also go to the university? And I remember almost maybe 42 years ago, the late Chief Bola Ige, when he was governor of Oyo State, he said that if someone has had the opportunity to go to primary school, so your education stopped at primary school, it's likely your own child will go to secondary school. And if you had the opportunity to go to secondary school, for whatever reason you couldn't go to university, you would like your child or children to go to the university. The truth of the matter is when you look at those of us at the University of Ibadan, we are the first people from our families to have a university degree. And for one, my dad was a farmer and my mother a peasant farmer. So why should if I the child of a farmer, I know the child of a farmer cannot enter Colorado now unless Baba gives him a scholarship. If the child of a farmer and a petty trader can be giving your university lecture, you that you are from middle class and upper class, I could see my friend, KDU-I, who is a registrar of a university, so he has money to send his children to Colorado. His own children probably will send their own children to America. I know Baba's child is not likely to come to UI because he has enough wherewithal to send them abroad. I think that's the way it goes. But someone has to break that what do you put it now? Glass ceiling in the family. It's logical. If you have a university degree, it will be almost unlikely that any of your children will not go to the university, not necessarily because you are rich, but because of the opportunity. And the Pro-Chancellor was even telling me when we were discussing this morning that even people who are market traders, they now send their children to private secondary schools because the public, private, and primary schools are not doing too well. And so all of us know the reasons. In fact, I remember many years ago, a cousin of mine came to attend the matriculation ceremony, matriculation at University of Ibadan. So he said that it was like a carnival. He was asking me, was it that we matched matriculation and convocation? I said, no, it's only matriculation. Just because those newly admitted students to University of Ibadan, they had written JAMB like 2 years earlier. So when they now got admission, prayers answered. So it was like after fasting and praying, it was celebration time for them to go to the university. People, and also another time, a foreigner from America, he came. He said he was pleasantly surprised during our convocation, the enthusiasm. So if your child has graduated from the university, I think it's worth celebrating. During my own time, when you get university admission, your mother will tell you not to tell anybody because you are afraid of witches and wizards. They don't tell people when you have been admitted. But if you have now even stayed there for 4 years and you are graduating, I think it's time to celebrate. One of the major reasons for the rapid expansion of university education in our great country, Nigeria, is the demand for it by population. So why not? Everybody loves to attend the university. The belief is that graduates have better employment opportunities and have enhanced earnings compared to non-graduates. Your degree will open doors for you by the grace of God, as many jobs now demand a degree, unlike what was the scenario many decades earlier. When I finished secondary school, for example, I taught in a secondary school before I could secure admission to University of Ibadan. But if you finish secondary school now, nobody is going to employ you to go and teach in another secondary school because there are many graduates. So we said marketability, increased earning. Okay, personal growth and improved self-esteem. There is higher job satisfaction and positive return on investment. It's an investment. In fact, one of my friends who is teaching at Osun State University said many civil servants in Osun State, they just go and take a cooperative loan, 1 million naira, and the tuition fees is about 250,000 naira. So they think the 1 million will see the boy or girl through the 4 years. So it's going to be a lot hard for them, but they think that's the best way. And preparation for a specialized career, opportunities to develop life skills. If you want to become a lawyer, these days you have to go to the university, you have to come to Kolada and have your LLB. Or you want to become a doctor, pharmacist, or engineer. So some careers require you to go to, you can't be an engineer properly called if you have not attended the university. And you also have opportunity to make lifelong friends, which is much easier now with social media. So I really already mentioned that the first set of private universities, I think 3 of them were licensed in 1999. Babcock, Igbinedion, and one other one in the east, Madonna. But now we have 111 private universities. So the competition is becoming keener. Oyo State alone, there are 7 private universities. Ogun State is where we have the most, 13 private universities. Lagos has 6, Osun 8, Ekiti 1, that's Abuad, then Ondo 3. So more private universities are coming, but also the enrollment is still relatively low because of, so you find out that you have a classroom you have facility for 50 students of chemistry, but only 3 of them are registered. But we think with time, whereas it's reversed with the federal universities in particular, there's too much congestion. So in 2020, about 2 million candidates were looking for admission, whereas all the universities put together, federal, state, and private, could only take just about 1/3 of that. So it creates a problem. Then, of course, there is a lot of variation. Medicine is often highly competitive. Then law, highly competitive. So that's why now that you have a faculty of law, like when I discussed with the Vice Chancellor, I know that the quota for law will always be filled up because all the federal universities and the states, and even they can only take less than 10% of those who wanted to read law. So there is a kind of a glut. So opportunities, of course, they must satisfy the minimum entry requirements, and it's also very expensive to establish some of those. So it's a balancing act. And so the important thing, the point we are making is that when you look at university education, maybe also education at any level, there are 3 major things you have to consider. So I was really very delighted when the Chancellor was giving his speech, which he has circulated. He said equality is very important. Quality is important. So the idea is that if you have a BSc Industrial Chemistry or BSc Microbiology from Kolada University or any of the other programs, the BSc should be able to go to sleep that this is our product. It can prove its metal. It's not just to dash to inflate grades. And I think so. Cost is, of course, all of us know the cost element. Then the quality is very important. So the access, the quality, and the cost. So it's a balancing thing. And of course, federal universities, they are cheaper, but it's not as if they are totally free. You still pay some charges. And what complicates things is that if 10 candidates are chasing 3 positions in terms of admission, one would have thought that you just arrange their performance, then you admit the first 3. But for public universities, it's not like that. You have merit, locality, educationally less developed states, and all manners of criteria. So the competition is tough. So like I said, for medicine, at least from the data provided by National Universities Commission, only 8% of the candidates who applied were admitted in 2019, and I don't think the picture has changed. Law is also 8%, whereas some other courses it's relatively easier, because if it's 99% of candidates that are admitted, the remaining 1% is also not just a mere statistics, it's a human being. So quality is important, and it depends on the number of people applying. So we have already mentioned that only about 1/3 of the candidates are admitted. You don't have to go. For us at the University of Ibadan, we have the luxury of, because too many people are applying to us, so we don't have to bend over backwards. Maybe 60,000, 65,000 candidates we apply, and we want to admit only 4,000. So what can you do? It doesn't really matter, and we try to place a great emphasis on quality within limits. So Senate will say, okay, just admit the very best. And that has always been the case since the university was established 74, 75 years ago. So we are all standing on the shoulders of giants. So we think we don't have to lower the standard. So for private universities, like we said, I mean, we have the statistics of those who applied and those who are admitted. Of course, they admitted fewer candidates than the public university, but we also observed that some of them, many candidates will apply this year, but next year it may drop. Like, I think Babcock recorded the highest, followed by Afe Babadola, Covenant, and the rest of them, but it's very expensive. I was also very happy that this lead city, which is in Ibadan, featured well. I mean, it's placed the fourth from 8th position, so they moved up 4 places. And Caleb in Imota, then Belts in Ota. And I think the proprietors are, because when the university is first established, the proprietor has to spend a lot of money, but with time, when you start having more students, so the commitment of the proprietor will drop slightly. So you don't go and worry about too much at 90. So Abba was saying that when he was going to read his speech, that he won't be able to stand up. You don't expect a 90-year-old man. It's not every day you see someone who is 90 years old. So it's our father. You should handle him with care. So in spite of all the challenges, the Federal University is taking almost 2 out of every 3 candidates looking for admission, then followed by the state universities. Private universities, only about 5 to 6% of the total enrollment. But of course, things will change, because now I see some of our colleagues in the UI, they send their own children and wards to private universities on account of strike mainly. So the perception of private universities will continue to improve. I think that is the take-home lesson. If I remember 20 years ago, I was out of home for just a week. Before I came back, my wife had withdrawn our children from a staff school UI. And I said, why? I said, because of a strike. Some years ago, when I was deputy vice chancellor, one girl came to my office, a native of Ibadan. So I asked her, when I look at her papers, why did you go and do your degree in Ghana? They don't have as much resources in Ghana as you are. He said strike. He didn't even have to think about it. He said, also strike. But you are a native of Ibadan, so you now went to Legon, which was established the same year as UI. So the private universities, I think one thing they have going for them, including Colada, is that you will be able to maintain a stable academic calendar. When I entered UI, I was older than you. I was 19 that time. I'm sure some of you are just like 21, 22. I was 19. So I was already calculated that in 4 years' time. Because our former governor, Odun Loyo, he had his first degree at the age of 19. That was when I was just entering UI. Not because I was smart that I was able to finish in 4 years, just to say the issue of strike is really a problem. Because when we have a forum like this, at least for somebody coming from a public university, I'm sure, even though you are a private university, I'm sure some of your classmates in secondary school or your siblings, they are in the UI or Ife or Lagos, which are the biggest federal universities around. So you still feel for them. Then student assessment is just to say that I'm sure you do continuous assessment and all that, because the image of the university is very important. At times, I read the paper where somebody from a private university, he said they criticize them that they produce too many first class. Me, I don't really care if all the students in your mathematics department or computer science, if all of them earn first class, so be it. Insofar as you are sure that they are fit for purpose, that you can defend it. And I think also in the paper, I gave some anecdote there. It was a life story that Professor Ayobanjo, who is also a personal friend to Baba, narrated that maybe around 1968 or so, in the Department of English at University of Ibadan, towards the end of the session, of course the calendar was very stable then. One candidate there, of course he told me the name of the person, but I don't want to mention it publicly, that the department was going to give him a second class upper, 2-1. Now invited a professor of English, whether from University of Leeds also, that after going through the student script, he said the external examiner just said, of course, this is a first class material. All of them were just looking at him. So the candidate ended up having first class. So that is why the department was ready to give him 2-1. But the external examiner said, no, this candidate deserves a first class. So whereas, suppose it was the reverse, you wanted to give first class, and the man said, no, this one doesn't worth more than second class lower. So that person, that professor from UK, will then have a very good impression of the University of Ibadan. I also have had instances where some professors will say, A in a course is for God, B is for me as a lecturer. Then the student should struggle for C or D. But I think that is stupid. Any lecturer that thinks like that is not fit to be a lecturer. You should be very happy that your students are doing very well. Why are you ordering the marks? So to me, if a student deserves A, I give him or I, even if he's 69, I will round it up. Yes, yeah, I'm not saying this one to impress. It's just the way I think. There was a time, maybe year 2000, in my department of geology at the University of Ibadan. One boy is a native of Ibadan. I look at his results, very brilliant. But I calculated his grade points. I now observed that it was at the border between 2-1 and first class. The only course that was left was the project defense. I did the calculation. He needed to score A in that project defense to make first class. So I sat with the external examiner from University of Ilorin. I just said, and our head of department, Professor Badiyoko, he was not at the exam, but he just came in. He asked a few questions on geochemistry and all that. The boy was just answering. I just told the external examiner that, this boy deserves A. That was how Sekiro was given A in the project. I said, case closed. Because I knew with A in the project, the boy was going to make a first class. And after his NYC, he came back to do masters. As he was finishing his masters, he got a scholarship to go to US. He didn't even have money for transport. It was the UI Muslim community that contributed money for him to fly. But they said they guaranteed him, what do you call it? Maybe assistantship, but that he had to transport himself from Nigeria to US. He didn't have money. The UI Muslim community contributed. That was how Sekiro ended up with first class. And today he's working with ExxonMobil. So we should bend over backwards. But I knew that the boy, in fact, when he went to Baylor University to do his PhD, I wrote to the head of the department to write a confidential report on him. Very flowery thing that he wrote, that this boy had a very good training, from solid training in geology at the University of Ibadan. So if you had given him 2-1, heaven will not fall. But we felt that we should bend over backwards to accommodate him, and thank God he has not disgraced us. Civil academic calendar, nothing to say about that. Now the ASU strike is about 33 weeks. It's the second longest ASU strike. The only one that is longer was also under this current administration, 40 weeks. So maybe we are competing with that one. But that was during the COVID-19 pandemic 2 years ago. Now there's you cannot close your university for even one day when you are not under a war situation. But we hope things will improve. So the federal university system has lost about 6 years and 3 months from our compilation due to strike. I mean, time is an invaluable resource. We just pray that things will get better. In his convocation address at Osun State University just on 21st September, the Pro-Chancellor, that's Madam Yusuf Olaoluwale, and I quote him, he said it is time for our governments to show commitment and seriousness on the funding of our university education. In the same vein, the administration of universities must exhibit prudence and transparency in the way they manage the resources of the universities. In order to address the problem of incessant strikes by various unions in the universities, it is high time the salaries of workers in the universities be reviewed upward to meet the realities of inflation. The thing is that if somebody is a civil servant, if they are well paid, then they can afford, they have more disposable income. Some of them can say, okay, I can even send my own child and ward to a private university. But the reward system has not been able to take care of that. Staffing. I mean, when the University of Ibadan started in 1948 with 104 students, there were only 50 members of staff. But now, students has grown from 104 to maybe 30,000 or 35,000. Staff, almost 5,000. So when the university is first starting, you have to depend on sister institutions. So I know that some years to come, the Vice Chancellor of Colorado University will be an alumnus of the university. But it's not possible for you to become Vice Chancellor tomorrow. I think only one set had finished before you, but 2 years you finish your master's. And at times I even tell students that the gap between the students and the lecturer is not that wide. After your NYC, you go and do master's. Professor Latibosu can employ you as assistant lecturer. So you two will then be sitting on this side, not there. But like the proprietor and the chairman board of trustees have told you, you just have to be focused. It's not a big deal. The point was made when they were reading my citation that I finished my BSc 41 years ago. It did not take you 41 years to reach where I've reached. Don't think you are going to be here in 41 years. You can even be 15 years since you are smarter. During my own time, there was no computer. And that is part of it. It's much easier for students to do very well. When my daughter wrote WAEC, and she says it's called A3 in the Yoruba, I say, what? Even myself, I didn't have A3 in Yoruba. How did it happen? So you learn faster because even your cell phone It's more powerful than some computers. But during my own time, there were no computers. So you have to depend on other universities for a start. But I'm sure one or two of you may decide to come back here after your NYC and all that. So it's a natural thing. And even recently, Professor Wole Soyinka was appointed a professor by one university in the Middle East. Then also Tony Fadola, who is a son of Ibadan Soil, was appointed extraordinary professor of political science by University of Pretoria. So it's like a lifelong commitment. Professor Tony Fadola will be 70 in the new year. Of course, Wole Soyinka is about 88. It's not so much as if he needs a job, but they think his presence on their staff list will increase their profile. So I also mentioned here that even the vice chancellor of Paradise University used to be at Ife. Like I mentioned, a person before he saw the light and came to Ibadan. And we thank him. For 6 years, he was our dean. Not that he likes third term, but there was no other person to take over from. So we had to beg him to stay longer. And because we were expecting accreditation from the Council of Legal Education, I would also like to formally congratulate you for your being appointed or elected or selected as a senior advocate of Nigeria. Because it's the first time I'm seeing you. All of us are excited. So I also have been an associate lecturer in a university before, but the university has now built up their own staff strength, so they can do without me. But if a university is first established, you cannot have the full complement of your staff. And I also mentioned the fact that when I was doing my MSc at Imperial College, the university also engaged people as associate lecturers. It may just be a few hours to interact with us. Even now, you can bring people from industry. It would be nice for Sarah Babarola, if he has time, to come and teach your finance and accounting students for 1 hour. It can make a whole lot of difference. You cannot pay for his 1 hour anyway, but I'm sure you can do that one gratis. I mean, if you are going along Ife Road, you see, just shortly before Gbagi, you see a multi-billion naira facility that he donated as a primary health care center. So he's a son of the soil. I'm sure he's ready to give back to the community. So we thank you, sir, for your continued support. So do I tell them that you are coming to lecture them in the new session? It can be done virtually. It can be done virtually because the way, if you talk to them, it will inspire them. Just to let them know that you started like them many years ago. So they know that the sky is not even their limit. So private universities, they have issues. I mean, most of the things have to do with the funding, really, the resources, high cost of faculty and staff development, inadequate infrastructure, because we want to expand, lack of adequate finances needed for growth, then library, and then low student intake. I'm sure even when you have a facility for 10 students, it may turn out that only 2 candidates have applied. What can you do? But I'm sure the VC and the Senate and the Council can support so that maybe you decide, one of my friends told me that when he was vice chancellor of a private university, if in chemistry department, they have only 3 students. So we offer subsidy to 2 other students to join them because he thinks one professor cannot stand in front of only 1 student. Even the students will not enjoy it. The students also want competition. So quality assurance, we have mentioned all those. And the employability of graduates. All the 4 speakers before me have hammered on employability because you think your acquiring a university degree is a means to an end. You cannot be a professional student. Even if you want to have a higher degree, your master's, you go and work, or your PhD, someday you also have to work and start paying tax. So that's why students want to read professional courses. I think if you have a copy of the lecture, you can read most of some of those things. So the cost of tertiary education, all of us can relate with this. I think the problem is, part of the problem is inflation. So that's why people complain. Your 1 naira today is not going to be 1 naira tomorrow. One of my friends, who's a professor of finance, was saying that he did some analysis, that he compared the prices of some goods, between December 2019 and December 2021. Some of the prices have doubled. Meanwhile, your income is not increasing. So it becomes a challenge. This is a private university, but we also have to relate with the public. Like I said, some of the students here, their parents are probably civil servants or public servants. But we think things will get better. And according to the World Bank, more than 5 million additional people are to be pushed into poverty this year. You have heard of Nigeria being the poverty capital of the world. So we think you that are graduates, you are going to be job creators to help us, to contribute towards solving the problem. One person cannot do it alone. So we think the way you have been trained here, you'll be able to contribute. So when this institution opened its doors about 6 years ago, after securing the license from the Federal Executive Council, again for the first set, 32 students were admitted. The second year, 115. So the important thing is that it has been increasing, rising every year. And for last session, 251 new students were admitted. So we know it's not so easy for the parents and guardians to raise hefty sums of money. If you don't have the money, it's a pity. But one is really impressed by the composition of the Board of Trustees and the council here. I mean, almost all the senior advocates of Nigeria are in the council. Experienced scholars, at least Professor Chitogun is a former Vice Chancellor, Professor Bamiro is a former Vice Chancellor, Chief Mujila Diko is a former registrar of about 4 different universities. Technocrats, entrepreneurs of I think it doesn't get better than this. So you can see even the quality of the speeches that we have listened. If you ask Chief Mujila Diko to come and give this kind of lecture, you will not leave here today. It will be like another inaugural lecture. So we thank the proprietor for selecting the best and the brightest. So I don't want to stand between you and your receiving your degrees. All this one is Turenchi. You are just interested in shaking hands with the Pro-Chancellor and the Vice-Chancellor. The vision of this university is to be a world-class institution for excellence in the production of graduates who are able to respond to the socio-economic needs of a knowledge-driven economy. While the mission is to nurture graduates like you. You are the graduates of this institution with high employability attributes and competencies to help transform our country into global reckoning and position of pride in all human endeavors. Anywhere you go, remember you are ambassadors of this institution. So continue to do the university proud so that all of us can remember today and feel so happy. We are part of your success story. Both the vision and mission of this university fit neatly into the upgraded mandate of universities. Universities have to decide internally how to adapt and innovate their primary processes, namely education and research activities, while externally, they have to determine where and how they can contribute more effectively to socio-economic progress, community development, job creation. Job creation is very important. Innovation, I think innovation is also one of the key words in your anthem. Knowledge transfer is not limited to the science and technology disciplines, and it goes beyond university-industry collaborations. For example, even when you are students here, or now that you are graduating, you will be involved in knowledge transfer through internships during your National Youth Service Corps, and when you enter the workforce. Knowledge can also be transferred by academic staff through publications, because when the academic staff publish, they put their affiliation as a Colorado State University, so more people will get to know our great institution. Collaborative research with private companies or public organizations is a means of transferring new knowledge produced by the university. Consultancy services to clients in the public and private sector is an important way of transferring knowledge from university to society. Licensing, that is the right to use specific research outputs produced by the university, is an effective form of knowledge transfer. Then finally, knowledge transfer through setting up new businesses. So some of you will soon start. I'm sure some of you have companies anyway by the side. Without telling your parents, you still take money from them. Now you can do it full-blown. The success of your knowledge transfer will depend on the investment in capacity, funding, and time, on the contacts with external actors that need to be built and maintained, and whereas at institutional level support, both internally and externally, needed for developing appropriate and effective knowledge transfer circumstances. Colorado State University should carve out its own niche of knowledge transfer, considering an appropriate balance between its size, history, location, and strengths, its aspirations and capacities, and society's needs for relevant knowledge and technologies. The debate as to whether private universities should benefit from funding support from the Tertiary Education Trust Fund is yet to be decided. Our humble position is that the private university should be given opportunity to access research funds from TED Fund, since at the end of the day, university education is both a public and a private good. If a Colorado State University is able to come up with a drug that can treat malaria better than the existing ones, so why not? You are helping us to serve the community, and the users will not only be people in the private sector, both public and the private sectors, and the government by extension will benefit from it. So the title of this lecture is to say the future of private universities in Nigeria. So I'm not exactly a soothsayer nor a prophet, But from the lecture, one can say that the future of private universities in Nigeria is very bright, insofar as the public universities alone cannot take care of the demand of our teeming youths to access tertiary education. Nonetheless, each private university, such as KDU-I University, has to design its own template to be competitive while maintaining a very high reputation, like our father, the proprietor, has said. It's a quality. It's very important in order to stand out from the pack. So when you go and do your service, by the time you spend a month or 2 months, they should be able to say, oh, this graduate, where did you come from? KDU-I University, that you have really tried to distinguish yourself. Not eye service now, because of the quality of training that you have received over the last 4 years. So you'll be able to stand out from the pack in terms of the teaching, research, and relevance to society. So I thank you all for your kind attention.
Admissions of first degrees. Chancellor, sir, the person who will be presented has fulfilled the requirements of the statutes and regulations of the KDU-I University, Ibadan, and have been found worthy, both in character and in learning, to be admitted to the first degree of their various faculties. With the graduates of the Faculty of Applied Sciences, please stand and remain standing. I now call on the Dean of the Faculty of Applied Sciences to present our graduates.
In the name of the Faculty of Applied Sciences and by the authority of Senate, I present to you the persons standing and those absent for sufficient cause, and for whom I stand proxy, who have been found worthy, both in character and in learning, to be admitted to the various first degrees of the Faculty of Applied Sciences of the KDU-I University, Ibadan.
I admit you all.
Can the students please file out, take a bow, and then go back to their seats? Can you do that quickly? Bawa Allah, Babajide, just continue filing. Adeleke Emmanuel, Ifeoluwa. Owolabi Fẹ́rànmi, Simisola. Adegbola, Ìyànàolúwa, Adéọlá. Anigilaje, Oluwa, Mayowa, Mary. Hamzat, Zainab, Olamide. Akwe, Evans. Chemical Sciences, Bawa Allah, Babajide Nurudeen. Adeleke Emmanuel, Ifeoluwa. Owolabi Fẹ́rànmi, Simisola. Adegbola, Ìyànàolúwa, Adéọlá. Anigilaje, Oluwa, Mayowa, Mary. Hamzat, Zainab, Olamide. Akwe, Evans, Toluwase. Olalere, Aishat. Biological Sciences, Adebayo, Timileyin, Juliana. Adeshina, Temiloluwa, Grace. Ajayi, Tijesu, Nimi. Salami, Anu Oluwapo. Saliu, Oluwafeyikemi. Adeniran, Ladeji. Akinola, Anu Oluwapo. Odumosu, Portia. Okonko, Godwin. Olumeko, Damilola. Bakri, Oluwabukola. Elijah, Shalom. Emmanuel, Temitope. Michael, Ayo Jesse. Eshitu, Moyosore. Computer Science, Aonenge. Regina, Okere, Anita. Oladejo, Praise. Mudeyi, Emmanuel. Idowu, Chukwudi. Orofola, Taiwo. Tuji, Adekoye. Adeyemi, Ayomide. Akiwale, Henry. Daniels, their tassels from right to the left. Congratulations.
Please be seated. With the graduates of the Faculty of Arts, Management and Social Sciences, please stand and remain standing. I now call on the deans of the Faculty of Arts, Management and Social Sciences to present our graduates.
In the name of the Faculty of Arts, Management and Social Sciences, and by the authority of Senate, I present to you the persons standing and those absent for sufficient cause, and for whom I stand proxy, who have been found worthy, both in character and in learning, to be admitted to the various first degrees of the Faculty of Arts, Management and Social Sciences of the Kolada-Isi University, Ibadan. As I call your names, you just file out. Don't wait for your names, just come out and get the handshake. Department of Business Administration, Balogun Zainab Olaitan, Accounting Program, Ewusho Mary Olaseni, Kola Aderoju of Oyindamola, Ariyibi Eniola Favour, Ayola Esther Ayomide, Showumi Samson Damilare, Alabi Oluwakemi Blessing, Pepple James, Business Administration Program, Simon Ire, Ilerioluwa Victoria, Economics, Kolawole Ebundoluwa Sarah, Moronfolu David, Olariwaju Babalonimi, English and Literary Studies, Eden Gloria Blessing, Olawoyin Kehinde, Abbas Kobiogu, Seriki Avomide, History and Diplomatic Studies, Ola Oshoko Eniola, Ajileye Joseph Bolaho, Aremu Ezekiel, Edem Susanna, Oyelabi Oluwatobi Loba, Salau Temitayo, Ola Oye Ovindamola, Seriki Adegunle, Mass Communication, Adebayo Ahmed, Adeoye Ajele Koko, Adedeji Barakat, Adeyemi Abiola, Akinlotan Oluwadamilola, Akintola Ovidamola, Oseji Emmanuela, Salawudeen, Bisola Sani, Titi Layo. Mass communication continued. Daramola Jesuloba, Fabiyi Eniola Grace, Lawal Balogun Adam, Najiofo Eze Gloria, Obudu Telma, Okpadijo Femi, Oyetunji Israel, Yaya Sofiat. Political Science, Adelani, Ademola, Alabi Esther, Amahalu Adaize, Hamid Medinat, Umar Baba Naida, Abdul Salam Fariza, Karim Adekunle, Oladapo, Olushola, Oloruntoba Gideon. Graduates may now move their tassels from right to left.
Congratulations to all. Please be seated. Presentation of awards and prizes. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor to present to you some first-degree graduates who have merited prizes based on academic excellence and commendation achievement in the 2021-2022 academic session. Overall best graduating students: Salami Anoluopo Deborah. KDU-I University Prize. The prize is awarded by the KDU-I University. Best students in the Faculty of Arts, Management and Social Sciences: Ola Oshoko Angel Eniola. KDU-I Foundation Prize. The prize is endowed in perpetuity by the KDU-I Foundation. Best student in Faculty of Applied Sciences: Salami Anoluopo Deborah. KDU-I Foundation Prize. The prize is endowed in the perpetuity by KDU-I Foundation. Best student in the Department of History and Diplomatic Studies: Ola Oshoko Angel Eniola. Parahim Salami Prize. The prize is endowed by the founder, Chief KDU-I CON, in memory of Parahim Salami. Overall best female graduating students: Bawala Babajide Nuruddin. Chief KDU-I Prize. The prize is endowed by the founder, Chief KDU-I CON. Overall best female graduating students: Salami Anoluopo Deborah. Late Chief Mrs. Alaja Sherifat KDU-I Prize. The prize is endowed by the founder, Chief KDU-I CON, in memory of the late Chief Mrs. Alaja Sherifat KDU-I. Best graduating students in the Department of Economics: Kolawole Ebolua Sarah. Late Emeritus Professor O.O. Akikugbe Prize. The prize is endowed by the family of late Emeritus Professor O.O. Akikugbe in his memory. Best graduating student in the Department of Accounting, Balogun Olaitan Zainab. Pa Joseph Adesokan Oshutokun Prize. The prize is endowed by Professor Adeniyi Oshitogun for Pa Joseph Adesokan Oshitogun. Best graduating student in the Department of Economics, Kolawole Eboluwa Sarah. Professor Adeniyi Oshitogun Prize. The prize is endowed by Professor Adeniyi Oshitogun. Best graduating students in the Department of Mass Communication, Adeoye Ajenlekoko Sharon Ayomide. Mama Folashade Yinyola Oshitokun Prize. The prize is endowed by Professor Adeniyi Oshitokun in memory of the late Mama Folashade Yinyola Oshitokun. Overall best female graduating students, Salami Anoluapo Deborah. Mrs. Adiola Afolabi Prize. The prize is endowed by Professor Oladapo Afolabi in memory of the late Mrs. Adiola Afolabi. Best female graduating students in the Department of Mathematical and Computing Sciences, Oladejo Praise Oluwadara. Alaja Shakirat Olaide Oyelade Prize. The prize is endowed by the Chief Latif Oyelade in memory of the late Alaja Shakirat Olaide Oyelade. Best graduating students in Department of Accounting, Balogun Olaitan Zainab. Late Mrs. Yetunde Alatede Ogomena ní Ogunṣọlá Prize. The prize is endowed by Chief Ajibola O. Ogunṣọlá Baroyin Ibadan in memory of the late Mrs. Yetunde Alatede Ogomena ní Ogunṣọlá. Best graduating student in Department of Business Administration, Simon Victoria Ilerioluwa. Late Mrs. Yetunde Alatede Ogomena ní Ogunṣọlá Prize. The prize is endowed by Chief Ajibola O. Ogunṣọlá Baroyin Ibadan in memory of the late Mrs. Yetunde Alatede Ogomena ní Ogunṣọlá. Best graduating students in Department of Mathematical and Computing Sciences, Inogene Nguna Regina. Late Mrs. Yetunde Alatede Ogomena ní Ogunṣọlá Prize. The prize is endowed by Chief Ajibola O. Ogunṣọlá Baroyin Ibadan, in memory of the late Mrs. Yetunde Alatede Ogomeno ní Ògúnṣọlá. Best graduating student in Department of Economics, Kọ́láwọlé Ẹ̀bùolúwa Sarah. Late Mrs. Yetunde Alatede Ogomeno ní Ògúnṣọlá Prize. The prize is endowed by Chief Ajibola O. Ògúnṣọlá Baroyin Ibadan in memory of the late Mrs. Yetunde Alatede Ogomeno ní Ògúnṣọlá. New Horizons Excellence Prize Award on International IT, E-Business and Professional Skills and Certification given to the best result in machine learning using Python programming. Oladejo Praise Oluwadara. New Horizons Excellence Prize. The prize of computer tablet is given by New Horizon System Solutions Limited. New Horizons Excellence Prize Awards on International IT, E-Business Professional Skills and Certification given to the best results in data analysis, QuickBook Accounting. Balogun Olaitan Zainab. New Horizons Excellence Prize. The prize of computer tablet is given by New Horizons Systems Solutions Limited. Best graduating student in the Faculty of Law, the award of the prize will commence at the first graduation ceremony of the student in the faculty. Late Emeritus Professor O.O. Akikugbe Prize. The prize is endowed by the family of late Emeritus Professor O.O. Akikugbe in his memory. Best graduating students in the Faculty of Law, the award of the prize will commence at the first graduation ceremony of the student in the faculty in the law faculty. Professor Adeniyi Oshitokun Prize. The prize is endowed by Professor Adeniyi Oshitokun. Valedictory speech by best graduating students with outstanding academic performance and leadership qualities. Chancellor, sir, I now call on the valedictorian, Mrs. Anoluapo, Miss Anoluapo Deborah Salami, to deliver our valedictory speech.
Standing on the existing protocol, I thank the school management for the privilege to give the valedictory speech at the second convocation ceremony of KDU-I University, Ibadan. I am honored. I return all glory and honor to God Almighty for His love, grace, and mercy on us, the graduating students, other students, and the school at large. KDU-I University has been of great service to parents and students. I therefore appreciate our founder, Chief KDU-I, Bashorum of Ibadanland, for making this possible. I also appreciate the teaching and non-teaching staff of this great university for their time, support, and encouragement towards impacting qualitative knowledge in us. Most university students frequently disregard their time in school, viewing it as only a transitional period between high school and the real world. But we, the 2022 graduates of KDU-I University, Ibadan, do not take one bit of it for granted. So I thank everyone who has made this university what it is, and those who have supported along the way. Here we have received top-notch education, which has prepared us for the future. On a personal note, I would like to honor my parents, Engineer Katie and Mrs. M.R. Salami, for their support, love, prayers, encouragement, and sacrifices. I cannot thank you enough, and I am forever grateful. My fellow graduates, we have accomplished something today. As we begin our journey, we should toss out the pre-made map and start creating our own. It is time for us to go to the following phase, but nothing should stop us from taking those first steps. Before we miss the right opportunity, we shouldn't spend too much time trying to select the right opportunity. Recognize that there will be setbacks and challenges, but we must learn from our own and other people's errors. I will exhort us to confirm that we are on the ladder that we actually want to be. Keep in mind that this is your life. Many of us have had most of our decisions made for us up to this point in our lives. It is now up to us to make a decision. So make your decisions while you are fully awake. As well, make decisions that are motivated by your heart rather than what other people think, say, or believe. The utilization of our special gifts for the world, which are only found within us, will be used to judge our contributions to the world rather than money and accolades. The world is more malleable than you would imagine. It is just waiting for you to change it. We cannot solve every issue, corruption, natural calamities, and the likes. But the ones we can, we must. And because we can, we must. Because we can, we must. So let us go forth, class of 2022, and contribute in our own special ways. To everyone, thank you for coming, and God bless you. Long live KDU-I University. Long live Ibadan. Long live Oyo State. And long live Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Goodwill messages. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor to invite the universities who have messages of goodwill to the university to present their messages. Dr. Emeka Nwosu, Dominican University, representing the Vice Chancellor, Dominican University. Dr. Modupe Adetunji, Trinity University, Lagos, representing the Vice Chancellor, Trinity University, Professor C.K. Ayo. Professor Sunday Olawale Okeniyi, Vice Chancellor, Atiba University, Oyo, Nigeria. Professor Godwin Oyedokun, representing Vice Chancellor, Lee City University, Ibadan. Professor A.A. Bakari, Dean of Science, University of Ibadan, representing Vice Chancellor of University of Ibadan. Professor J.K. Oloke, Vice Chancellor, Precious Cornerstone University, Ibadan. Mr. O.O. Dada, Deputy Registrar, representing the Registrar University of Ibadan. We also want to acknowledge the following. Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, ably represented by Barrister Abiodun Abdurrahman. You are welcome. Mr. Akonji Olayinka, Director of Higher and Continuing Education. You are welcome, sir. Mr. V.A. Olugbemi, Director, Mathematics and Technical Department. Closing. I now invite the Chancellor to declare the convocation closed.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor now to declare the convocation closed. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, shall we rise for the anthems, the university anthem first and the national anthem.
KDU, place of hope and glory, Colonize University, set to be the best in the world. Oh, KDU, promotion, value, advancing the frontiers of knowledge, equipping with quality education, innovation, global relevance, created in the heart of excellence, building destiny, rebuilding the nation, the future for all is bright. We're soaring high, far above the skies, we dedicate ourselves to build our nation's rise for the sake of humanity. May the Lord God bless alma mater, Colonize University. May the Lord God bless alma mater, Colonize University. Oh, KDU, KDU. To serve our fatherland with hope and strength and faith, knowing all our heroes must shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and mind, one nation loving freedom, peace and unity. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, and my youth the truth to know. In love and honesty to go, and living just and true. To build a nation share peace and
The academic procession will leave the hall in reverse order. I enjoin us all to stay in our respective places as the academic procession leaves the hall. Please stay in your places. Not that we should sit, we should stand while the procession is moving, please. Thank you. That you shall all use this certificate obtained today to achieve greater things in your lives in the mighty name of Jesus. I congratulate the lucky parents and I pray that we shall see the glory of our children in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you all for coming. God bless. Thank you for providing the melodious music. We appreciate you. God bless. Please allow the graduates to leave the hall